All right, welcome, welcome. We're going to jump into a great little session here. I'm just going to explain the TUPOS ecosystem to you. Of course, I'm Joshua, the founder of TUPOS. And TUPOS, for the last 21 years, when the Father gave me this, was called the Entrepreneur's Partner. It was my heart's desire to become that servant leader inside of an entrepreneur's journey, to aid them and encourage them on that journey. Be able to fill the plugs wherever the gaps were. And that's kind of the gift that I've got, if you will. I look at and I see gaps and do analysis like that and very rapidly move into solution-based presentation. Okay, I like to take action into the solutions that present themselves and then course correct over time. And this is how my journey has been, not only with TUPOS that I'm going to share with you today and why we're having this conversation. This is the final, I don't want to say final, that's not the right word. This is the next iteration of the TUPOS ecosystem. And for the very first time, it is an entire ecosystem. You know, for the longest time, I sat and I explained to everyone that I'm like the cobbler's kid. You ever hear that story, right? The cobbler's kid didn't have no shoes. Now, this cobbler was the best in the world, but his boy had no shoes. Why? Because we're too focused on the serving, and as a result, the interior suffers, and ultimately everything does suffer from that. So it is really important to go full circle, to iterate and reflect, look back and course correct, adjust, and fire for effect once again. That's what we're going to be doing here as I share with you this next iteration. But I wanted to share that with you so you understand TUPOS has gone on a journey, a long, long journey. We've always desired to help entrepreneurs with building teams and systems and processes to be able to walk you along your journey in the most effective and efficient way, where you can enter in to a place of power. So that's what we're doing here at TUPOS, which oddly enough, if you're not familiar with what that term means, of course, TUPOS itself is a Greek term, which means impact, impression, and example. Or you could use the word pattern. Okay, so impact, impression, pattern, example. Ultimately, this is what the word in the Greek means. Okay, so the reason that we're going for this is because that word is actually found as it relates to Christ. Now, I'm not going to sit here and proselytize to you during this message. This is not the goal here. What I am going to tell you is that my Father has put me on the course of this journey to bring me to a place of impact, example, inside of my own life, inside of business. And what I notice with most entrepreneurs, this is your calling. This is in fact your calling. And whether you've heeded that calling or not is, well, that's your journey. And that's not for me to judge. But I am sent to actually aid on this process, on this journey. So TUPOS is, again, now an ecosystem, and what we're calling it is power. Really, it's the power ecosystem. Because everything that we've been given and that we have capacity for as entrepreneurs, as, if you will, children of the Creator, is to operate in power. It's not fear, it's power. And if you will, power, love, and a sound mind, or self-discipline. But power is that kind of, that fulcrum, right? You're either operating in it or you're not, right? You're either operating in it or you're not. And most of us haven't experienced power in the first place. But you're going to need to understand that power is required. It's not about the words. The words aren't good enough. You know, we look at sometimes the fruit of this world and measure things very differently. Hey, and if you're doing great and fantastic and you don't think you need any of this, then obviously off you go, right? If you know you need power, if you know you need to move forward in your journey and to providing an impact and becoming an example and all of these things that are tied to your entrepreneur journey, then I'm telling you, this is the key element that is missing. So, as we go through this journey, the first thing we need to do is be able to establish some hope. So the Father gave me this little session, if you will, that was birthed out of a lot of coaching, a lot of fires, 20 plus years of doing this. And it's called the Hour of Power Experience. Now, inside of that Hour of Power Experience, you actually walk away, and I'm just going to give you the end net of it. You walk away with a full recording of our session, a copy of all the visuals that we document, and the opportunity to step into our power ecosystem. So we give you some very, very, very special rates for our challenge. Did you see that? That end did not cooperate whatsoever. Okay, so the challenge as well as our sprint. So both of these are going to be starting up here, either at the very end of March or in the beginning of April. Now the challenge and the sprint, and the beautiful thing about these is this is a one-on-one experience. These are group experiences. This is where you're going to be able to come together with others and begin to develop momentum. Not just momentum, but skill set and competency across all of the domains of power that we're going to introduce you to. So this is the entrance, right? You're also going to get access to light. All of this is power challenge, power sprint, power light. You'll see this all on the TUPOS.us site. But you understand, this is an entry place. This is a place for you to come now, begin to develop momentum. We're going to identify some really good keys here. You're walking away from your Hour of Power experience with a clear roadmap on what it is you need to do right now. We're going to analyze priorities inside of all 4 domains, which I'm going to mention here right now, because you have 4 domains inside of your life, okay? And they're all impacting one another all the time. Whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. Facts are facts, and if you'll get to the place of analyzing them, you'll see this is a fact. Inside of your form, your faith, your family, and your function. Now, of course, your form is what you're made up of, right? What's knocking around inside of this vessel right here. Your faith is what you're actually believing for and how you show up, what you're representing and your mission, as it were. Your family are those people around you, not necessarily by blood, but those within the community, those that you've been plugged into for whatever reason, including your whole city, your workplace, all the connections with your neighbors, all of these things tied together, even, of course, familial relations. And then you have your function, which is what the hell are you here for? Do you even know? You know, I found so many entrepreneurs doing a business just because that's what they fell into, or they thought that was a great opportunity. And some of them, once they get to a place where they begin to scale, this is the sad part here now, and hear me. If you're there, I understand where you're at. I get it. There is a way to undo this, but you find yourself trapped in the very business that you built. You scaled it to a place where now you're in the container. That's not what we're after, because that's not power, okay? Everything that we're gonna move you into is a place of leveraging power so that this thing is on fire, right? It's a really horrible flame, by the way, huh? Let me just remove that there. Anyway, but so that the value that you provide, your mission here, once that's activated, once that's in alignment, which typically is tied to our business as entrepreneurs, right? Then that's going to cascade massive power here. It's going to cascade massive power here. And ultimately, this thing is going to begin to produce the fruit of, hey, I'm operating on all 4 cylinders here. Yeah? So what happens, and this isn't, I just want to give you why I'm bringing this up right now, okay? So usually what we have is issues up in here, big time, big time, big time. This time, If you can get honest with yourself, it's on the inside generally, right? This one, yeah, usually, spouses will cover things up, kids will cover things up, you only see things here and there. This one's generally more obvious, unless you're like me and you've just been blessed with this greater outer shell, and on the inside, it's mostly mind games and inner workings of the body that nobody else can see. The fact of the matter is, though, this isn't for anybody else to judge. I don't know if you knew this, but if you'll go through each of these domains and begin to analyze that yourself, you're going to find that you can become a little more truthful than you have been. There are things that you leave out, and there are things that you say that are not true. But if you'll look at all four of these, you'll begin to see that they impact one another. They impact one another all the time. Things go fantastic in the family. What happens? Oh, I get motivated to work out. Maybe I wind up going to church or whatever that looks like for you. Or maybe my business, I have a new bit of confidence that I bring to the table, a new bit of, you got it, power. This is why I'm having this conversation with you. I just want you to understand where all these things link together. And I realize that, this is what happens inside of the Hour of Power experience. When you go and you'll go to tupos.us/hope, which is, of course, I'm selling hope here now. Now, this is normally $9.97. The value on this is absolutely monumental. You get after action materials that you'll never get from another session, not quite like this. $9.97, we killed that, and we're putting it at $2.97 right now. There are some opportunities, and I've tried some opportunities to throw out there for you. If that's a too high a bar for you, we're probably not really a good fit. But if it's just a too high a bar for you, you're not sure, there are a number of applications that I'm going to allow every single month, and to be approved, mind you. You can have 1,000, 10,000 applications, that doesn't matter. Just like a school, right? But there's a certain amount of these we're just going to give away every month, because there legitimately are people that are right there on their breakthrough, and I get it. But I'm going to need a lot more information from you up front. Understand, you've got to have some skin in the game, or this will be absolutely worthless to you. Ask me how I know. All right. Once we get you through this Hour of Power experience, then you're going to look at the challenge. Now, the challenge is normally $97. We're going to give that to you for $47. The sprint, which is a much more involved, this is $9.97. We are going to give this one to you for $4.97. And then the light membership is a $47 a month. Check this out. I'm going to give this to you for $47 for life. This is only going to apply to the quote unquote founding members, and you have to have participated in an Hour of Power experience in order to get these. Okay, you have to actually go book your Hour of Power experience in order to see any of this ever reflected anywhere. It won't be anywhere else on the internet. We're not offering it. It's a founding kind of thing. As we enter into 2025 here, I realize most entrepreneurs that are watching this anyway, have not hit their targets. Okay, or haven't set new targets that are going to move them forward. And there's a reason. Again, where's the leak? This is what we're going to experience here. You enter into the Hour of Power experience. We begin to take and analyze all of these pieces, starting with your function, or typically your business. And then we're going to bring you down a path where you can begin to build momentum. You'll have clarity coming out of the Hour of Power experience. But you need to maintain clarity moving forward. And there's disciplines and habits, and without a group to run with, it becomes very difficult to do. You ever have that challenge? Look, you do this in a silo? How's that working for you? Not very well, right? But you get around people and you start lying about this, you're going to get called out. And that's what we do here inside of TUPOS. This ecosystem will go beyond this. This is just the, hey, we're going to do it with you. Hey, we're going to do it with you, some do-it-yourself stuff. But ultimately, we'd like to do it for you. This has been my background for the last 25 years, sales, marketing, and technology. Mostly technology. And the reason being technology and leadership. And I would say mostly because of where we're at right now. Now, over the last 21 years in business, I have attempted to develop several times an integrated platform to basically a business process optimization platform. This is one of the things that it's been on my heart since the very beginning of the journey with TUPOS. 2 years ago, we entered into a partnership with an amazing platform and began to integrate and build into the TUPOS platform now, where, again, I said this was an ecosystem, right? We will come and actually build for you the foundation. So we have a foundation plan, and that makes a lot of noise. Hopefully that didn't come through. Upon that foundation, we begin to build some momentum, get you out of being the only one doing the things, and then ultimately we want to bring you to ascension. When you're no longer inside of the middle of the operations, but you're actually leading the team and you're working more, in fact, you'll find working more inside of these other domains that are going to produce more into the output of your function. And of course, we have the inner circle. And if you come along this journey with us, what you're going to find is that as you ascend and enter into the inner circle, you're going to want to have much more of a legacy style impact. See, we are absolutely engineering the future of entrepreneurship. We want to do this in a place where it is together, where we're not sitting here puffed up one against another. Those aren't the principles that we operate from here. We're not going to sit here and bullshit you or try and sell you on a bunch of stuff. This is simply what it is. Now, these packages that we do for you are all about systems and integrations and maximizing, or we should say reducing the friction, but maximizing the efficiency of your organization, which literally business process optimization across the board. Now, it starts with where you think, and that's why we start with the Hour of Power experience. But as we begin to take you through the journey, through the challenge and sprint and into the light membership, and you begin to see, excuse me, the power of this in effect, you'll understand that we can also help fast forward you. And we don't need to do this for anyone, okay? We want to help you. It's up to you whether you want the help. Now, when we come in and do this, we're talking about massive implementations, okay? Like we come in here and you might as well have picked up a CTO, a VP of technology and several engineers, as well as a marketing team. You're gonna pick up the amount of resources that would probably cost you $250,000 a year to hold on to, on the minimum. Minimum. Yeah. So think about that for a moment. You start stepping into the do it for you stuff where we get to go to work for you instead of just working with you. You're going to find a lot more power, a lot more momentum, pun intended, will begin to build. And as this explodes, it will begin to cascade once again into your other domains. Now, if you have any questions about this, if there's anything that triggered you inside of this, then drop a comment and let me know. I'm just trying this out, seeing how it's going to go as far as the video and the content and recording and your reaction to it. Like, is this valuable to you? Do you understand TUPOS as an ecosystem better? Do you understand how we could bring some impact into your life and into your business now? All right, look forward to hearing from you. For now, Joshua, founder of TUPOS, looking forward to interacting with you and joining you and encouraging you on your journey as an entrepreneur. Shalom.